Now keep in mind that this is the ship's doctor. This is his version of the invasion of the whole group of the Marshall Islands, which was a lot of them, and it covered a lot of territory. And when I mention these islands, I may not be pronouncing them right, so I can spell out a few of them here for you. This roar that I've been mentioning is spelled R-O-I. And Namur is N-A-M-U-R. And Majoro is M-A-J-O-R-O. That's a Ratac chain in the Marshalls. That's another chain of islands close to the Marshalls. Kwajalein is K-W-A-L-E-L-E-I-N. So I just spell him out, and of course Eniwiktok is E-N-I-W-E-T-O-K. By the way, this Eniwiktok later on, after it was secured, well, I ran into Joe at Guam, and he was on the USS Duffy. It was a destroyer escort, a small ship, and he got to ride my ship from Guam to Eniwiktok. But getting on with the story here at February the 1st, shelling of Roar and Namur has continued for 24 consecutive hours. This was done by ship bombardment and bombs dropped from planes. The islands appear to be a solid mass of smoke and flames. We observed the upper part of a Jap ship that was sunk. From the yardarm there was a Jap hanging with a rope around his neck. The story, as was told to us later, was that this particular soldier swam from the beach to the sunken ship. As the Marines proceeded towards the beach, he sat on the yardarm and just watched them. But when one of the Marine boats swerved towards him as though it was going to capture him, he quickly put a rope around his neck and hanged himself. 11:11. Continuous wave of Marines are proceeding to Roar and Namur. 12 o'clock. A tremendous explosion occurred on Roar. Planes that were flying overhead making observation from 500 to 600 feet were catapulted and destroyed in midair. We saw at least 3 planes fall to the ground. The smoke arising from this explosion was terrific. In fact, it was so dense our firing battery had to cease shooting because they couldn't see the target. There still remain some Japs on the island in spite of the greatest bombardment in the history of modern warfare. Imagine the continuous bombardment for 30 solid hours from several hundred ships. 4:30. Went over to the nearby LCI to treat some wounded Marines. While there, I learned that the men on this particular ship hadn't had any bread for the past month. We sent them about 20 loaves from our ship. That was all we had. Several landing crafts came alongside us, and we gave them fresh out of the oven bread and candy that was passed out to us before the engagement. In turn, some of the Marines threw us some of their canned rations. It wasn't bad food at all. This evening we are patrolling outside of Ivan and Jacob Pass, about 5,000 yards from the beach. February the 2nd, a submarine contact was made by an airplane. Squadron 1, including the Phelps, was designated to go out after it. After a 24-hour search, we could not verify the contact, so we went back to the patrol at our regular station. Later on, we learned that one Jap sub had run aground and was broken in two pieces. 3 o'clock. Our forces reported that Roar had been completely taken, and Numar has just a few snipers. A few women and children, very few, were found on the Numar. How anyone could have lived through such a terrific bombardment is beyond imagination. While we were conquering the north end of the atoll, a similar task force was taking the southern part. Today we learned that they too were equally successful. 90,000 men were said to have been participated in this invasion. February the 6th departed for Majuro to retake Chain and the Marshall Islands, a swift harbor that we captured without any struggle. The harbor is big enough for our entire fleet, and that's really saying something. At Majuro, we saw several natives. The women don't wear anything but a loose garment that covers their hips and legs. The upper parts of their bodies are completely exposed. Wished I'd had some film to take a picture of them. February the 12th, back at Kwajalein. At 2:30 this morning, we were awakened by a general alarm. The word was that at past many enemy planes are coming our way. They never did reach us, but they sure did bomb the hell out of Roar and Numar. Later on, we received word that 23 of our men were killed, 100 injured during the alarm. We lay a smoke screen which was as dense as a heavy fog. February the 15th, underway for Eniwetok, another island that we're supposed to invade. Only a small task force is going to participate. The main body of ships are going to Truk, 90 miles away, to give it an air attack.